next up a segue, actually, on staff benefits in some ways. So, I don't know how many people in the room know of Mr. Cullen Haynes, sat here in the front row. Cullen is a colourful character that I've known on social media for many a year. And I'm surprised if there's a lawyer or a barrister in Australia that is not aware of this man's movements on social media. Legend is an overused word, but when it comes to LinkedIn, this man is absolutely there. So it would be remiss of us if we didn't take the opportunity, whilst Cullen is in the room, not to talk to us about his staff benefits programme and all the things that he does with legal home loans, but to actually educate us on how he uses social media to build his personal brand, because it's not everyone's thing. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to have Cullen to educate us. So Cullen, it's over to you, sir.
Thanks so much, Alistair. Great to be here. And hello, distinguished guests and guests that don't identify as distinguished. Welcome. It's great to see so many familiar faces and new ones. I don't want this to be death by PowerPoint, but just want to talk about what's happening in the realms of LinkedIn and how it helped us build our business. And serendipitous, I'm back at Macquarie because I started my finance career at Macquarie and we started LHL when I left, so it's great to be back. So in terms of keeping an open mind, I think a mind that opens never goes back to the original size. So we'll talk about LinkedIn reach and how we've managed to use it since we started in 2018, May the 4th. May the 4th be with all of you, that's when we started our journey. My unlikely journey, just a little bit on that because it's not the typical route to being a broker for lawyers. Everyone's individual persuasion stack, and you all have one. In terms of the ways to win at LinkedIn, I've come out with 23, and I've diffused it down from a book that I'm finishing at the moment, 60,000 words, so we'll try and be relatively quick on this, and any questions at the end. These are all the reasons why I particularly like LinkedIn, and also the reason why it's the choice of many professionals to engage and whatnot. I actually started in Albury-Wodonga, so didn't actually grow up in Sydney, and if anyone knows where Albury-Wodonga is. Didn't go to a private school, went to Xavier High School, and started working at Big W, listened to Tony Robbins as a kid because my mother got me onto him, and now getting into Never Split the Difference. If you haven't got onto this book, it's fantastic. Was at Big W, was a part-time magician in university, started physics. Didn't like that, so became a radiographer after university. So X-ray broken bones, samurai swords through people, the interesting things people put inside themselves on a late night. And I can still see right through people to this day. But then I switched out and started my MBA and became a guest experience manager in hotels. So dealt with high expectation people and VIPs and whatnot, and then eventually joined Macquarie. And then we started LHL in 2018. And that's where we use the power of LinkedIn. And why I say those things is you've all got an individual experience that makes you you, and what makes you lethal at what you do. I'm not the best broker in Australia. I'm not the oldest, I'm not the wisest. But because of my unique experience and what I've gone through, it makes me weapons grade in what I do. And I've brought that to my profession and what I do on LinkedIn. And he talks about it as well, Scott Adams. I think he's recently been cancelled, so probably don't say that you've read this book, but it is quite an interesting book in terms of persuasion stacks and whatnot. We started our first post back in 2018. That's my business partner, Andrew Johnson, there's a lawyer who's also called Andrew Johnson, no relation. And it was a heretical 7 minutes long, but it got us started. And from there, we started all our various series on LinkedIn, and to the recent one where we've done the Law Light podcast where we interview leading lawyers, and our Lawyer Lending Life podcast where we interview leading suppliers. Now, if I was to ask you, what does every business need, or what does every good restaurant need? What would it need? I'll say, what was that? Yeah, absolutely. You got to do one, actually. A starving crowd are people that need your business. You need people that actually rely on what you do. There's no point having the best steak or the best lighting or anything like that. So you need a starving crowd, and you need to know how to communicate to them. So this presentation is not about designing the perfect LinkedIn page, but how you can get exponentially more dream clients than you've ever had. It's not about how to get the most eyeballs on your content, because that's a vanity thing, but how can you have more meaningful, qualified members of your tribe come to see you? Now, in terms of LinkedIn, as I said, have an open mind. Have a mind open to everything and attached to nothing. This is one of my late great mentors, Wayne Dyer, who had that mindset. So law one is just start. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just start with what you've got. And this was my first post I did when I was at LHL, when we joined. That was me signing the contract. And it was a momentous moment. And from there, we started, upgrading our everything to make it good. So I would highly recommend you upload your profile picture, and it's not one that's in a car. Get a professional one. Get a picture in the background with maybe your team. People like seeing you with your team. Maybe some branding as well. And put some personal things in there. Do you like to run? Do you like to read books? People like to see the person behind the company. Here's some great examples. Carly Stebbing does it well. She's got her company in the background. A friend of mine, Lucy, wrote a book, and it's out there. I would not recommend maybe leaving the dates up there. It looks a bit dated after a few years. And Clarissa Raywood as well. Law 2, there is no limit to how much you can post, as long as it's quality. I hear people saying you can only post once a day. You can only post once a week. It's rubbish, garbage, rhubarb. You can post as many times as you want, as long as you're delivering value and you're not selling, which is what people get themselves into the habit of and the trap of, because you're just constantly selling, people switch off. So what I'd highly recommend you do, and this is a challenge, when you leave today, I want you to start with just a text-only post. Maybe just a quote, maybe something that is a wonderful thing that you've learned today. Maybe share it with others and start your journey if you haven't posted and whatnot, because it's quite interesting to see those that are quite successful. And I encourage you to take a lot of photos, and these will be made available, because it's quite telling. You see no one's posted, and I haven't heard about them, but if I have heard about them, they post quite often and they're in my feed. And some other things that you can do: craft an all-text version of what you've recently done with your work. Start a poll, and we'll talk about polls. Give away something for free, things like that. Law number 3, it's not a resume, and you need to see and be seen. So what I'd recommend you do is, with that background photo, if you've got a picture of you and your team, it's great. I've even got my son there. He's the youngest broker in Australia, I think 14 months in that photo. Avoid any Google stock images. Use tailored hashtags. You get 5 hashtags. So do 5 hashtags that represent you. So ask yourself, what do people know you for, and what are you actually adding value about? Repetition and consistency are key. So I use these 3 things in many of my posts. It's either a quote or something I'm talking about. Hit follow, like, share, comment, and make it count, and 5 hashtags that related to it. It makes it easier to post about things when you've actually got a rubric every day, because then you can consistently post. So it reduces the bulk, your followers get used to your style, and you can actually test and repeat what you do. Now, you've all probably seen Glenn Ross. This guy says, it's Alec Baldwin, also been cancelled recently. Always ABC, always be closing, always be closing. That is rubbish. If you've only got one person you're talking to and you're only closing that one person, it's not going to get you anywhere. You need to always be connecting. And at the moment, I'm connecting with probably 50 to 70 people per day and messaging 100 people a day. And that's just for me. And that's, I may have another version of myself in AI land that actually helps me with that. But that is what you need to do, to always be connecting with people. Take a photo of this. This is my bulletproof message that I've tailored over the last 6 years. This helps me connect with many people, and I've got probably a 90 or 95% success rate of people actually accepting this, because I actually look at people's profiles, seeing if I've met them before, and let them know I really enjoyed some of the stuff they've been putting out, who we're connected with, and it's very non-salesy and non-threatening. And I challenge you, once you start posting, people will start commenting on your posts. Send this one. This is an engagement post. Thank you for engaging. Love to get to know you a little bit more, and send that. Law number 6, celebrate good times. Come on. In Lawland, lawyers love awards time and things like that, and it goes back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The basic human needs, and at the top is the need to self-actualize. So we've all seen it, Lawyers Weekly, when it comes out with the Lawyers Weekly Awards, the old humble brag. You're going to get it, the award picture post, and there's always hashtag humbled, hashtag teamwork, hashtag blessed. I use that, and I go through all the winners, and I actually say, best of luck, hope you enjoy, and people actually like that because you're actually recognising them. So if you actually go and have a look at where your tribe are hanging out and what they're winning, they actually appreciate it. Number 7, we've all had that moment where we've got a big sales pitch, and forgive me, a pitch slap, where someone's just sent you a big text of just salesy, and it just throws you off and you just delete. You need to find the little radio in your message. It's called the voicemail feature. When you open a message, there's a little microphone. Press that microphone and it'll change your LinkedIn game. I highly recommend you do it. And one of my favourite versions when I connect with someone is Alistair. Great to be connected. See that you work with a lot of law firms. I'd love to get a coffee and see how we can add value. Also, we've come out with our latest article on the Lawyers Weekly. Let me know if you want me to send it your way. And I think that's how we originally met as well. And your first question was, legal home loans. Do you do any illegal home loans? No, we don't. But honestly, that will really help. Turn on creator mode. You can do that right now. You actually scroll down on your profile, there'll be an option to turn on creator mode. It changes it from people trying to connect just to people trying to follow. Honestly, you'll get more people actually start to follow you. Rule number 9, this goes back to being non-salesy, 80-20, the perimeter principle. So you can post as many times as you want, as long as 80% is of value and the other 20% is sales, like call to action type stuff. So if you're posting 5 times a day, you can post 1 call to action. If you're posting once a week, then only 1 time can you post a sales. Follow me. So as I said, use that in your marketing. There's a reason why all the YouTubers actually have that subscribe thing. It gets people doing it. So when they see your post enough, they go, okay, I might follow this person. Lucky number 7. Not only do you need to connect with people, but you need to actually show that you understand who they are. Go through their feed, like some of their content, and actually see what they're doing, because you might see some common ground. And this is something that not many people do when they connect with people. They don't actually look through their recent posts and actually see what they've been up to. In terms of law number 12 is the law of reciprocity. After you meet someone, I think Alistair and I did this, we recommended each other afterwards. We said, hey, met this great guy, he does a great job at building value for law firms. Put it on the actual LinkedIn. I see people asking me for recommendations. I tell them, switch it over, give people recommendations, and they will give you recommendations back. And in terms of law number 13, love yourself first. It's all right to love your own content, I promise you. I do it all the time. and it just starts the algorithm. It's all right to comment on your own content as well. So the algorithm shows that if you start the comments, other people will start commenting. And that's where, if you've got a sales pitch, put it in your comments and people will actually see it there. Number 15, make sure you wish people happy birthday. In the My Network features, there's anniversaries, there's birthdays, there's the promotions. Go through them and actually send people a voice note. Hey, happy birthday, or congratulations on your new role, see you main partner. Number 16 is what we talked about, congratulations on your promotion. Number 17, video killed the article star. Instead of doing an article, maybe do a 60-second video, because people are consuming videos like hotcakes with the introduction of TikTok and everything, and it's just the way people consume. So I challenge you after this, after you've done text-only post, start with an engaging question and actually get a 60-second video going. 18, document, don't create. Quite often people say to me, what am I going to write about? What am I going to talk about? You can actually just talk about your day. If it's a matter that you can talk about anonymously, say, had this hard matter, this was the problem, and this was the solution. You don't necessarily have to think of things. You can actually document what your day is all about and talk about it. For me, I talk about running because I love running, books, self-enrichment, 3-piece suits, and shout-outs to Legends of Law, as Alistair said. And that's what it's all about, is putting people up on a platform. Polls, I was talking to Janya about 2 different types of people in firms, finders and grinders. That's a great example of a poll. And the reason why I do yes-no polls is it jacks into the emotion, because I frame it as a negative question, and people just go all out. You get people coming out of the trenches when you do it negative. So even though I'm a positive person, do yes-no polls, do not do multiple choice, because it makes it too complicated. Number 20, circulate to percolate. My old uni professor gave us our final talk before we went out in the world and said, some of you will get this, some of you won't. This is the law of business. Circulate to percolate. And then he walked out. And some of us were like, what is he talking about? Others like, okay, you need to meet people every day and actually get that going. So that's why you see me meet with people, and that's why you see me put other people on a platform. I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about them. 21, always introduce someone to 3 people if you can. And I do that with the voicemail systems on LinkedIn. You can actually link 2 people that aren't connected and give them that. Integrate Calendly. If you don't have Calendly, honestly, or some system that actually books you in automatically, this changes the game for you. So I highly recommend it. And number 23, start a Telegram group. It's the new WhatsApp with your thing. It's the new WhatsApp. So what you do is you start the Telegram, invite your team members in from your firm, and when you post it in Telegram and go, guys, we've got a new post, and get them engaging with your team. It's an easy way to get engagement. So that was the whole presentation, guys. Love me or hate me, at least now you know me. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. And as I said, it was a bit of a magician back in the day, so I got this and this. Comes out every now and then. Thank you so much.
Not quite sure how I can follow that, really. Thanks, Cullen. Energy is fantastic. If anybody's not currently following Cullen on LinkedIn, you shouldn't miss out. I suggest you go and do that right now. Can I just introduce somebody who's walked into the back of the room? Mr. Gary Dooley has just walked into the back of the room. He's our speaker this evening. So, please, Gary. Yeah. Get the signing autographs table down front later on.